In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Sci podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still bad.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
Welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Kraus.
Oh, you introduced me this week.
I did introduce you this
God.
week, yeah. Last week was a little awkward. I was like, here, Cash, go ahead.
Yeah.
You're like, did you forget my name?
You
And
know my
like,
improv
well.
skills are minimal. So you throw something on me like that, and I am unprepared.
You are.
I am
You are.
unprepared.
We
because
have a very, very thorough amount of
Strict-
show
yeah.
notes, and we must stick to them.
We stick to
Even up to the
Kubrick
introductory.
rules of filmmaking here. It's script, zero improv. Zero improv. Stick to the script. Well, Mason, have you been washing your hands?
Oh, of course. My job requires me to wash my hands, so that's all I do.
Oh, I forgot. You
all
are a
day
surgeon.
long.
People
I
don't
am a
know.
surgeon,
So
yeah.
You have to keep a sterile
It's pretty
consulate.
incredible I'm able to do this podcast and be a full-time
Because you're working
surgeon.
18-hour
Yes,
days
I
at the
am, yeah.
ER most
Yeah,
of the
I just
time.
don't sleep.
Yeah, you don't.
A lot of methamphetamines.
But you're
Yes,
a lot
of.
But most doctors, you know.
No, of course. We got to pop that Addy.
They get the free
all day
scripts.
long. Yeah,
They get
I
free
know.
scripts, baby. Of course. It's like candy there. It's the candy store.
Oh man,
Trust
How do
me,
you-
I've
how do you
watched
think
ER.
I'm paying off
I've
my
seen-
student loans?
I've seen the show ER.
Yes.
They're doing all kinds of crazy shit. Well, one, they're fucking constantly. That's
All the
keeping
time.
them going. That's keeping them going.
And surprisingly dying very often.
Yes. Yeah.
Just all the time.
It's
People
just
are
as
always
dangerous
dying.
being the doctor as it is the
It
patient.
is, yeah. It's like
'Cause-
Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
Like all those doctors
it's-
are dead.
Yeah.
I don't want to work for that hospital.
How many shootings has there been in Grey's Anatomy Hospital?
Too many. I think per capita,
At
it's a
3,
little suspicious.
After 3, you get guards.
Yeah.
You get armed guards.
you do.
constantly.
You have to.
I just watched a YouTube. I've never seen a single episode of Grey's Anatomy, but I just watched a YouTube clip of the one episode where they have the shooter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. For some reason it was, but yeah, that's a wild hospital. That's like
is.
the Wild West there. Don't
I don't
even
know.
go.
Where's it
You're
even
more
located?
likely to get shot in the hospital
than outside of the hospital.
yeah.
Like,
But,
here, let's patch you up. You try to leave the hospital.
But
someone shoots you.
but speaking of hospitals, though, we live in a crazy time and place right now because we are the
We do.
only recorded corona death
we have
deaths
6
in
of
the
them.
U.S.
Yeah,
Yeah,
6 of them in Washington State.
100% increase from yesterday when we had 3.
Yeah, right. Well, and that's primarily King County and Snohomish County.
Well, it's Seattle, yeah.
Yeah, the Seattle area.
But I mean, that's our most populated areas, so
Makes
it usually is
Yeah.
those first areas. But yeah, crazy, isn't it?
Very crazy.
Crazy. I just heard Seattle. They bought a hotel. King County did to house the sick and the infected, so they don't have to go to the hospitals anymore.
Wow, that's crazy.
Because they had to like put all the doctors and nurses and everything on furlough or whatever. Because they were in contact with the patient without knowing they had corona first, so they had to let them all go and fire their asses. We'll put them on furlough.
Furlough, yeah.
But yeah, it's.
Coronavirus
I'll give
is
it
crazy.
3 weeks, and we'll be living Mad Max style. Me and you will be driving a giant tanker full of breast milk.
We'll still be podcasting as we're driving that giant truck.
but just the classics, because no movies will be
course.
good.
No.
We'll be watching screenings on like rocks. It'll be cave paintings or whatever they do.
We'll be forced to watch all the John Travolta films.
Yeah. By him. Painting him on live painting him on a rock. But yeah, speaking of invisible things that kill though, we are here to review The Invisible Man.
We are.
The last movie to come out in February. Well, our last movie to review. And did it hold up, Mason? That's what I'm asking you. That's the question.
Absolutely. I thought I was shocked how good this movie was.
Yeah.
Actually, in a lot of ways.
We talked about before that we needed this movie to be good. Mm-hmm. We needed it.
After
your fumble last...
That wasn't
your
a fumble.
fumble.
That was like the Seattle Seahawks
that was
against
a pick
the Patriots.
Six. Yeah. It was a fumble at the goal line. Yeah, it was a fumble at the goal line.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I can't remember the name of the movie.
And then they want him or something like that.
That's not it, but it's the last thing he wanted.
Yeah.
The last thing he wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, go watch a review for that.
Yeah, definitely. It's totally worth it, too. Just to listen back and hear a shit on
you watch us, you won't have to watch the movie.
Good point.
That's a good.
And you know what? You'll save a good hour, 15 minutes watching us over that movie.
Yeah, and even though it's Netflix free, you'll
thank us.
Yeah, you'll thank us. You'll thank us for the time. But well, yeah, we are reviewing The Invisible Man, and it did well as far as February movies go. I mean, it's a masterpiece.
It is a serious masterpiece.
This movie definitely could have came out in any other month and would have held his own for sure. But
yeah.
But I thought it was, even though I was really worried about how much the trailer showed, it has one of the best jump scares of the year for sure. I mean, the year's only 2 months old, but of last year also. We have to talk about it. It's directed by the guy who directed Upgrade, which is a movie that we reviewed that we both loved.
Totally. And that movie just flew under the radar.
Yeah.
It flew under everyone's radar, and it was probably the best sci-fi film of that year.
Oh, yeah. Oh, without it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just said I went back and watched it again, and it's still amazing. But the only reason I noticed it was because the main bad guy is in this. You know, the guy who has like the robots inside his breath or whatever. He's in this at one point.
Yeah, he is.
And I'm like, why the fuck would that guy be? For one, he plays a bad guy, and then in this he's playing like an architect or something. Some guy. It's a role change.
Wasn't he the job interviewer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, man, what a weird role for him to take after that. But now I know he must be friends with Lee Winnell. Is that his name? The director of Upgrade. But yeah, he's kind of a sci-fi mastermind, this guy.
I know, it's kind of like the Ari Aster of horror films.
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
kind of like he does his own thing every time.
This surprised me, where this was a real mix of sci-fi and that thriller horror element with the suit and everything like that. But
you know what? It set the tone right away. Like in the very first opening of this movie, it set the whole tone for the entire film.
And I love that they got that out of the way immediately, and it wasn't like a drawn out, like we had to see the abuse and everything like that. We just immediately jumped in and knew that that she's was
severely abused.
Yeah, at this point, she's at the very end of the line. She had to escape.
And I kept thinking about this too, watching that opening scene. I was like, man, what a beautiful home, what a beautiful place to live. Everyone's dream, and she's trying to run away and escape from it.
Oh yeah, that's how you know it's bad.
Yes. Yeah. Well, right.
I mean, because she had everything, but yeah, I mean, it's obviously not worth it because it never goes into detail, and I'm glad it never went into detail how abusive he was, but it kind of hints at it throughout the movie. At one point, you could see like scars on her back and shit. Like he was like torturing her or something, like physically torturing her, not just mentally.
Well, and he seemed like a true sociopath. I mean, if you continue to follow someone and turn invisible just to screw with their lives, you got to be some sort of level of crazy.
Yeah, he was 100% just a narcissist, just a wacky person. We got to talk about it. We got to talk about who was originally supposed to play this part.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so originally, this was before. So what the Dark Universe was trying to do is they were trying to
We've talked about it and shit on it before.
And shit on it quite a bit after Tom Cruise's The Mummy and how bad it was. So they ended up doing some like rewrites, some rethinking on how they're going to approach it. So they started doing one-offs instead, and this is what The Invisible Man was.
Yeah, well, it's individual stories.
It's an individual story.
Where with nothing linking any of the other characters, The Mummy or anything, because remember before The Mummy, they had the Dark Universe. It's going to rival Marvel, whatever. They already had Bride of Frankenstein planned, and they already had The Invisible Man planned. The Mummy came out, did shit.
Awful.
Did horrible, bombed. They canceled everything, remember? And then they kind of revamped and kind of rethought of how they're going to approach this.
And this is the smartest way to do it.
It was that's exactly what we wanted. at least we said that they should go from a smaller and make these smaller horror films and then maybe expand to something larger.
In 5 to 10 years.
But do each individual really small, exactly like this. Don't make it world ending or whatever like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Johnny Depp was originally cast. And so was he going to play...
He was going to play the psychopath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm guessing at the time he was like...
You know what?
He's like, this is a little too close to home for me.
Yeah, he's like, look, I am actually her in my relationship with Amber Heard.
I don't know what you've heard or what's came out so far, but this might be a bad movie. And his agent's like, I just don't understand it, Johnny. This is you.
This is right down your alley. This is going to be a great
You're
role
eccentric.
for you.
You're wild. You know, you get a little crazy. And he's like, I'm kind of distancing myself.
He's like, listen.
Yeah. You might hear some things in the next coming months.
They're not true.
Yeah.
You may hear some
I
things
am
on
not
some movie
an
review
actual
podcasts.
Invisible Man.
The Have You Seen It podcast specifically may be saying bad things about me. It is not true. I promise.
But yeah, so I thought that was, I was thinking about that. I'm like, he could have definitely played her part at this point, being the
abused.
The abused.
Yeah, the abused, yeah.
And had Amber Heard play the Invisible Man.
Why is it? It's so weird. Why is it that we can joke around about men getting abused, but like we would never do that the other way? Not in a million years would we ever joke around about a woman getting abused.
Just society and how we've been brought up.
Yeah. I'm glad we can get away with making fun.
Yeah, because it is just as sad. It's horrible.
It is.
It's
just
horrible.
Sad. Yeah, it is.
But,
no one
but now we
deserves
know
to be
Johnny
treated like
Depp wasn't in an actual Invisible Man situation.
right. Oh my god.
But it is horrible. But yeah. So this has, but we got to talk about giving this to Blumhouse was the best choice that Universal made, because they are the fucking. There's no company. I'm talking about not just movie, but no company in the world that has the turnaround that they do of any product. This budget was $7 million. It's already made $50 million.
Which is great. Which is incredible. I mean, that this movie was only made for $7 million, but we had talked about this before the podcast. Yeah. It is so true though. Why it was so cheap? You got to pay your main stars, but the cinematography, where it would pan very slowly to like an empty room, but you would still get that feeling that the Invisible Man was there. And it was really genius the way they did that.
Like all horror films, you know, it's good horror films can always be cheap because it's always atmosphere. And atmosphere you can't just throw money at, you know. It's all suspense and everything. It's all building up on something. But the Invisible Man is something special because it's not like a Michael Myers or something where he's hiding in the pack. It's literally nothing. And you could say, you can just film it and say, you know, oh, there's someone there or whatever and pretend. But so it's extremely cheap. But Blumhouse is, I wanted to pull up, this is all the movies they've made, right? Mm-hmm. They have made over $4 billion in profit.
Wow.
Yeah, a total, they've made how many films?
Since when? Since 2006?
They've made 94 films for a total of $400 million.
That's incredible. And they really only started picking up movies start 2010.
Yeah, that's on average $6 million per film. We have to start a horror film production company. It's makes the most sense.
It does. It does make the most sense.
I mean, what is that profit? That's like an 800% profit. It's insane. It's something so high where it's.
Well, in Blumhouse too, they have that dope intro.
They do, and it gets like scarier every time.
It does.
Yeah. But they've done other things that aren't horror film. Remember, they did Black Klansman. They've done other things too, but it's just a cash machine.
It is.
Even these shitty films you make for $4 million, they make $40 million on average. Their average film, which is an awesome website, but their average film makes $60 million on a $6 million budget.
That's crazy. That's 10 times, man. You're right. So about 800 to 1,000%.
There's no other company that has that kind of turnaround.
No.
There's no way. Yeah. So they're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But they haven't changed anything. You know, they haven't like gone into start making $50 million budget movies or whatever. They stick to that $7 million on everything, no matter how big it is. That's the secret.
Yeah,
That's
the formula right there. Let's just come up with you and I. Let's put together $7 million. Yeah, and then we'll go make a turnaround.
Oh, I got $3 million in my couch cushions. So,
yeah, wouldn't be saying that to too many people, my guy.
But yeah, so I guarantee you. But yeah, it's the way to go for sure. It's just amazing what they're doing. I thought because a lot of their movies aren't great. But people go and see them anyways because they're better than everything else that's coming out.
Well, and they obviously release these horror films for the most part at a appropriate time.
Oh,
when there's not a lot of films. You know,
that's
you're not
one thing too that they
Star
do.
Wars or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they release them what? And they release when they know nothing else coming out. They release 2 movies in February. Fuck it. They might release more than 2. I know Fantasy Island was Blue Mouse.
Fantasy. Yeah, that's rough.
And I still think it made its money back. Though.
It probably did.
Without a doubt, it probably made its money back. But yeah, it's amazing. Well, let's dive into it, shall we?
Yeah, let's do this.
We already talked about it. It begins with her escaping the clutches of her abusive boyfriend, Adrian Griffin. And Griffin, he's a scientist in optics. That's just like the original Invisible Man. He was also a scientist in optics, and his last name was Griffin. I don't know if his first name was Adrian, but she's abusing this guy, but she drugs him, right, with diazepam, a sleeping pill. Mm-hmm. It's the way to do it.
Yeah, if you're gonna try to sneak out, you
especially if this guy is super alert sociopath, like he's always on a fucking level 10, just waiting for you to escape. Yeah, you gotta drug that guy. But she drugs him up. She kind of messes with the cameras and whatnot because he's an inventor and he's a genius. Mm-hmm. So he lives in this awesome.
And we got to talk about the house.
Awesome San Francisco, right on the fucking ocean.
On the beach. Yeah, on the beach.
Probably an $80 million mansion. So this guy's got money, clearly. But she wants out.
And I loved the intensity of like this whole scene, but then to hear the waves and how peaceful the waves are crashing behind her.
Yeah.
It was so weird because like the scenery, everything is so peaceful. Yet this scene is so incredibly intense.
Well, the sound design and the score was way better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
They used that kind of loud, that Godzilla, that really loud, and the same thing that Annihilation did also. They used that really well, and it works well for a horror film, but the score was awesome. But just the sound design in general. But yeah, so she's escaping, and before she leaves, though, she's does something nice. She lets the shock collar off the dog. And I thought as soon as she let that collar off, I thought he was going to start
barking. That's what I thought, too. And I was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
But it was kind of a red herring because I think you were supposed to suspect that. But then the dog bumps into the fucking car, and it's a dead sprint at that point.
Yeah, because the car alarm goes off, and then I feel like every alarm in the house went off.
Yeah,
all the lights
and all the alarms
on
in his head are going off.
They
of
are.
This fucking
like,
psycho. Yeah.
Hey, where's my girl at?
Yeah, and he's in a fucking diazepam fucking
head
spade.
space.
Yeah, so who knows what's going on there? But yeah, she flees. The property's awesome. Except for the 30-foot concrete wall is kind of an eyesore.
It is an eyesore, and it's a little intimidating too. I would say
a little prison-esque.
Yeah,
but yeah, she's got to jump this giant fucking concrete wall, and she runs through the woods, and she's waiting for her sister to pick her up. But it's a tense moment because Adrian is just chugging along somewhere, and throughout this movie, he's good at running because he's everywhere.
Seems like he's in good
quick,
shape. Yeah.
But her friend or her sister eventually comes, her sister Emily, and but it's a cool scene because it's a scene that unfortunately the trailer ruined though because it showed that scene where she gets in the car and he flying in with the Superman punch.
It was a hell of a punch. I gotta say.
Yeah, you know how hard it is to break those fucking windows out?
It's not easy.
You can't even do it with a hammer, let alone this guy's got. That's diazepam strength.
Yeah. That's a sleeping pill strength.
Yep. But so she escapes him, and it's a couple weeks later, and she's hiding out at an old friend's house who's a police officer.
Yeah. And you really see the extent of the abuse because at this time her friend is like, "Hey, just step outside. Just go get the mail and come back."
Yeah, and
that was like a big scene and a big deal for her.
Yeah, and that's what I thought that one of the aspects of this film did really well was showing kind of the PTSD you can get after having an abusive relationship and just how
on edge,
just how long it can affect you. Yeah, and that's very real. Let alone having an invisible man hunting you all the time. But it shows also that even without that aspect,
which could escalate the PTSD.
Yeah, even without that aspect, I thought it did a really good job of showing that, and just how how scary it is after. Because like you said, she is like agoraphobic after this. She can't go outside because he always said as like a romantic gesture, remember, I'll always hunt your ass down if you ever leave me. Well, have a good day.
What a romantic.
Yeah, I'm going to work now. Yeah.
He sure does know how to swoon the ladies.
That's always my go-to pickup line whenever I meet a new gal, yeah. But yeah, so she knows that he'll go and he'll hunt her down wherever she goes.
Yeah.
But everyone's saying, again, everyone's telling her the entire time, everyone's trying to calm her down throughout this entire movie. No one believes her, a single word she ever says. She tells her cop friend or whatever that, or James is his name, that he's going to come for her or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, but of course you're with a cop. But eventually her sister comes and tells her the good news, I guess, that,
well, in this scene really set it up too, because her sister Adrian comes in, and or no, it's not Adrian. What's her name? The sister's name, Emily or something like that.
Emily, yep.
Yeah, Emily. So she, her sister Emily shows up, and she's like, "What are you doing here?" She's like, "Oh, good to see you too." She's like, he follows you. He knows where you live.
Of course, yeah.
I know, but to have that sort of fear where
oh,
you really
yeah,
believe,
yeah.
like he's gonna follow
I'd be
your
pissed at
sister
yeah,
somewhere.
absolutely, yeah.
Like
yeah,
the
for
abuse
sure.
was very,
but to be honest, I guarantee that guy with the technology he has, he could.
He would have just put a tracker on.
Tracked her
car.
phone.
Yeah, tracked her phone. Yeah, put a tracker on her car. It's so
it wouldn't.
easy
Yeah, it
nowadays.
wouldn't.
Yeah, no.
But again, it goes to show you, and it's building. That's what this whole like first part is doing, is building up to what a psycho he is, because it doesn't show that. So it's got to build it up through her and whatnot, and you get it instantly. Because who would be that scared? I mean, if he's not a nut job. But eventually, Emily tells her that he killed himself recently. He slit his wrist, and that she doesn't have to be scared anymore. And she's not. She and I love that it didn't go through the Hollywood tropey thing of her being sad and whatnot for abuse. Obviously, they had a relationship, but. She wasn't too
worried about it. She was like, well,
she didn't cry.
You know.
I mean, she was shocked, but you learn later that the shock is disbelief, because she doesn't believe that he would ever kill himself
because of what he says to her.
Yeah, and how he's always been in control, and that's something that he would never do. Eventually, they get called by his brother, Adrian's brother, is also his lawyer, which seems like a conflict of interest.
It does seem like a huge conflict of interest.
But yeah, so he calls her and tells her they got to meet, and that he's got some good news, I guess, for her. After Adrian committed suicide, he left her $5 million in his will. $5 million.
A cool $5 million. Yeah. And that's tax-free. That's literally the whole sum.
But sucks because she has to get it in $100,000 increments.
Yes.
And
there's a stipulation
which was done on purpose,
in the clause saying that you can't break the law.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Which I don't know how much of that is to be true. Because, I mean, you could have money and still break the law. I don't know if...
Well, I think you don't get any more of the money
but
if you did commit a crime.
Yeah, again, it would have been all much better if he got the lump sum, but we learned that he did that for a reason, obviously. But,
of course.
Yeah. But yeah, because it's a trust, I guess, for that to be said. So, but, yeah... So she says, fuck yeah. She didn't go through the thing like, I can't take that money. It's not fair. She just says, I'll take that shit in a heartbeat. I earned it. And, yeah, and that's what, and Adrian's brother, Tom.
Which seems like a real shady piece of shit immediately.
Yeah.
I'm not buying a word this guy's saying ever.
Well.
And he's so, like, condescending. He's like, oh, I feel so bad for you.
Yeah, well, Cece, that's what they call Elizabeth Moss's character. She doesn't believe that he died. And Tom is like, well, he plays it off very well. Because at first I had no idea what was later to come. Because he plays it off like, I fucking hated that guy also. And his urine is right over there or whatever. They show the urine.
You did think it that way?
Well, when he said something like, he always controlled me and manipulated me in a way, I didn't think what would happen later, I guess. I didn't predict that.
Yeah.
Because I immediately, when I heard that he was his lawyer, I thought, okay, well, this seems like it's setting up to be something that... But the way, I mean, he really did sell, and I think he was telling the truth when he said his brother always controlled him and manipulated, because we find out that he was doing that the entire time. And again, it just adds to Adrian was just, he controlled everything in his life, including his family. Mm-hmm. Which, what a fucking nut job does that? But, yeah, so he tells her all that, and Cecilia, she's all jacked up. She's throwing away fucking money. She's giving presents out.
She is. She set up a college fund for her friend's daughter.
Yep, she's trying to move forward. Yeah, James' daughter, Sydney.
Mm-hmm. Sydney, yep.
Yeah. And we don't learn, but I guess their mom must have died some time ago or something, because we don't learn much about that. But yeah, so it's a new life. Things are going good. That fucker's dead. He's 6 feet deep. He's in ashes. He ain't coming back.
And you get a $5 million.
Yeah.
Life is good.
Adrian's brother, Tom, he was a fucking super cool lawyer guy who was obviously had some issues he had to deal with. But so
things quickly change.
Oh,
we start to realize some weird things going on.
And I think we got to bring up the cinematography. I said, let's talk about the cinematography, just because it starts right about now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Of when it will pan, like a character will go into a room, and it will pan the entire room, like you're supposed to be looking for some kind of hint.
Yeah.
An indent in the ground, an indent in a seat or something. It's so well shot where I think there's nothing in the room. There's nothing at all. I think it's just so well shot to where you're supposed to be thinking about it constantly.
Yeah, there were some weird things too in the trailer that weren't in this film. Like for one, when Elizabeth Moss, Cece, is sitting on the ground and she goes, "Someone's in that chair," and you can see the back sweat.
Yeah,
of someone in the chair. That wasn't in the film. I thought that was a little weird.
Well, was it? I thought they. Because that chair was her chair in the house. Because wasn't that the one that she threw? I can't remember.
Yeah, she threw over, but then that was the end of it.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe they did. The trailer showed a lot, so I can't remember all. But that's when it starts getting, and the camera will like just pan. It will just like stay momentarily in like one moment or whatever. It will just stick like to the hall or something, where you're just supposed to be thinking, okay, there's someone standing there. Yeah, it's very well. It's just very well shot. It is very
well shot too, because then you're constantly looking the whole time, and you're like, did I pick up on that? Did I see that?
Even when it's not showing you, okay, look here. I was constantly looking. Even when she's walking around, I was constantly looking at the ground or see any movement or anything, because it sets it up in the next scene when she's cooking breakfast. And she goes to leave the room. Then this is the first day of the rest day of her life. She's a new woman,
everything's
cooking,
going
good. Eat, pray, love, doing all that shit. But when she leaves the room, the fucking stove turns up and a knife is taken. The knife that she was using to chop stuff. Not good, because the house almost burns down.
It did.
But it's the start of...
Smart on Sydney's part, in all fairness, when she goes under the sink and she's like, no! Because Cece's about to throw water all over it, and obviously it's an oil fire. Yeah. You can't throw water on that. It's going to make it worse.
There's a number of ways to handle that situation, and water is not one of the worst ones. You can throw salt on it. I hear that works also.
Really?
Yeah, salt doesn't burn. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You can just cover the pan in the air.
With something? Yeah, in the air.
Yeah. That's what firefighters will tell you to do. Yeah. Yeah, you just cover it with a pan, and there'll be no oxygen, so you can't. But throw water on it, you might as well just throw gasoline on it. Come on, Cece.
It's basic.
You gotta let this 12-year-old kid come and save your goddamn life. All right, yeah. So she's doing that, and this is where she starts to think that she's going a little crazy. Mm-hmm. And this is my one gripe with the trailer, where if they hadn't shown so much in the trailer, this first half, you could have thought maybe she's just paranoid or whatever.
They could have phrased it that way, too. It could have been a psychological
The entire time, it could have been that he never existed or whatever. But we know from, like, the knife moving and whatnot that it... And she goes to a job interview. This is where she goes and meets the bad guy from Upgrade. And all of her work or whatever is gone. Is out of her folder.
Folder, yeah.
So now it's seeming like someone's fucking with her. You know, they're doing small things, or she's just so frantic she's forgetting things and whatnot. But yeah, this kind of and we find out that she's got some diazepam in her system. Also, she faints at the job.
She fainted at the job site. They ran blood work back, and the blood work said that she had a high amount of
Did diazepam have a fucking?
Did they add? Was this just like a giant advertisement for diazepam? Yeah.
Because by all means, I don't know a lot about diazepam, but it seems like something you don't want if people are using it to knock each other out and like it ruins your life.
It's like the roofie drug, yeah.
Not even that, but she like fainted like 8 hours later after taking
it? Yeah.
It fucks with your whole life. But this is important because she talks to the doctor, and the doctor tells her she faints or whatever. But they did blood tests and they found diazepam.
Mm-hmm. High amounts of it too.
This is when she immediately knows, oh, fuck, he's still around. He's still kicking. And she finds the diazepam, the bottle that she dropped while running away.
Yeah.
So now she knows for sure, 100%, that he's still alive. Mm-hmm. It's getting other people to fucking know. That's the problem. But the doctor also says faintly, oh, wait, there's something else. And then she hangs up. She was going to, tell her an important part, but... Yeah. Of course.
And then I think the next scene after that is going back to Tom, the brother.
Yeah.
Right?
She goes back to Tom with James without telling him anything.
Without telling him what it's about. Yeah, because she wants to confront him and be like, yeah, I know Adrian's still alive.
I know. And this seems weird because James just immediately tells Tom to, like, shut the fuck up. Because, man, he's like, you're going to sit there and listen to her. And Tom's like, God, man. And when 0 to 100, we know who you are. You're in my office. Yeah.
Telling me what to do. How dare you?
But it's good because Tom is an asshole.
Yes.
But yeah, so James... So she brings James, and she says, she pleads with Tom at this point, just because she says, Tom, you have to know, obviously you're his brother. Just tell him to stop. And he says, no, I can't tell him, he's fucking dead. And then he shows her the picture. Like he shows her a picture of fucking Adrian's body. Mm-hmm. That kind of cemented it for me. Like, okay, this guy must be really dead if there's a picture of him slitting his wrist, but... You don't know what kind of lengths this guy's willing to go.
No, and it's easy to fake something like that.
Yeah, but you got to have multiple people on the payroll for that. You got to have a coroner. You got to have the guy at the hospital. You got to have someone declare a death certificate because Tom can't do all that.
Yeah, good point.
So, it wouldn't be hard. He's a millionaire. They can...
Oh, yeah. You could give each guy $50,000
I couldn't fake my
death.
Sure. I couldn't fake my death. No. But a millionaire could easily fake their death. Come on, we see it all the time.
Epstein.
Yeah. I saw Epstein last week. Just wandering around.
Milling around at Walmart.
He's hiding. Yeah. But yeah, so she pleads with them, and Tom says, he shows her the picture, and that's kind of it, But then Cece, she brings out the bottle and says, look at this. And Tom's like, well, what the fuck is that? I don't know. Why you showing me
Has a pram? What? What?
And then he's like, well, I drugged Adrian with this. And I immediately thought, like, oh my God, that's probably going to be a problem. Because I think that's against the law.
It is against the law. It is
I don't think you're allowed to drug people anymore.
No, even if you're trying to escape.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Just ask Bill Cosby.
But this is kind of when he kind of takes her side, though. Tom does. He's like, look, I know what kind of person he is. He's like, this is what he does. He gets in your head. He goes, this is his greatest game. Long after he died, he's still fucking with you. That's the kind of person he is. Where he wants to know that even when he's gone, you'll still always be thinking about him because he's so fucking vain. Mm-hmm. So, this kind of breaks down. James at this point is kind of thinking that. Well,
James is sitting back. You can see in his eyes that he's
like, at this point he kind of. He's like,
I kind of wish you would have told me.
I yelled at you, Tom, because now I kind of feel like a dick because.
Because she starts saying that he's invisible. He found a way to be invisible, and if any other circumstance, you're going to start thinking, okay, she's got some serious traumatic issues. No one's invisible. Come on.
Let's talk about Elizabeth Moss. She is fucking amazing in everything. Oh my God, this was a great role for her.
Really?
But I feel like she elevates any role. You could have her playing anything, and she's gonna elevate it.
You thought she did a good job.
You don't think she did?
Elizabeth Moss? No, she's one of the worst around.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
never good in anything.
I know
she
you
does.
hate her. I know you hate her.
Can't stand. Awful actress. Absolutely awful. No,
Yeah.
she's literally she blows me away. Every role she does, she's so damn good. One of the best in the business.
Yeah,
by
when
far.
is she gonna get her Oscar role? I mean, it
I
seems
don't
like
know.
it
does
seems-
seem.
It
I
seems
think
like
maybe because
she's-
the whole Scientology thing, people are like,
Oh no, that gives you more pull.
I guess
if
so,
anything,
yeah. They got a lot of money.
they have a lot of money and they do have a lot of pull, especially in Hollywood. That's where they're fucking based and everything. But yeah, I don't think he's that. I think she just does these really small roles. You know, she's not doing anything big. When's the last time let's look at her filmography.
I know she did that Hell's Kitchen movie.
Yeah, which was fucking
I never saw that.
awful. But
other
she's
than
in
that,
starred in
she's
that,
in
yeah. And even that, she's in the French Dispatch.
Oh
That's
yeah, that's
awesome,
right.
yeah.
Yep. The
Yeah,
Wes Anderson film
Yeah,
coming up.
see, she never does roles where she's even starring. She was in Us, The Old Man
Us.
and the Gun, but none of these are starring roles.
No.
But she's ready for it, man.
Of course she is. She's been ready for friggin' 10 years, man. She's so good.
Look at The Handmaid's Tale. The Handmaid's Tale, look at that. She's good. She's ready for any role.
Yeah, because that one, you want to talk about emotionally just draining. It's Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah. But this role, it was just the perfect combination of everything, you know?
Yep.
She played that frantic, we know she can play that abused role very well because that's all she plays in fucking
It
Handmaid's
seems
Tale,
like
so-
it, yeah. It's got to just be
That's what she plays in Hell's Kitchen too. Or we're not.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if it was Hell's Kitchen. That's what it's called, but that's the role she
The
plays.
Kitchen is
Yeah.
what that movie was called, yeah. But it is crazy, though, to put yourself in that every day of your life
Well,
as an actor.
I can imagine it'd be draining,
Very
physically draining,
Very draining.
physically draining. Yeah.
God, it really does baffle me.
Yeah, a lot of people don't do those roles after roles after roles. But
No,
some
normally
people,
they switch it up. Oh, let's do a comedy.
yeah,
in
the
between.
kid, what's the kid from Honey Boy? He's someone like that would just do one after another. I think some people like really enjoy going that deep into a character.
Yeah.
And then hopefully in their real lives, they're
Well, and
going
Sarah
to
Paulson,
Disneyland.
too.
Yeah, exactly.
She's
yeah.
the same way. Every role you're like,
She's being
this is
abused.
so
yeah.
emotional. This is so like
Emotionally
dark.
draining on me just watching it. Just
watching-
imagine. Yeah,
literally portraying that character for 45 to 60 days on set.
exactly. Yeah.
Ugh.
Gotta hand
More
it off
power
to
to 'em,
yeah,
yeah.
you gotta hand it off to women. That's it's just incredible. It really is.
It is.
But yeah. So Tom explains that he was abused also, whatever, and that she should just move on. She got to get over it. Get over this guy. He's dead. So she goes to her sister to talk about it. Her sister is pissed.
Yeah,
She
Emily is pissed.
Yeah.
Super pissed.
Which I thought was kind of weird. I thought my biggest gripe about this movie was some of the character decisions I thought were a little off.
If your sister's telling you I didn't send that email,
yeah, and she
you
sends you
gotta
this.
kind of believe that.
Even if my sister or my brother or anyone in my family sends me this long, I'm immediately thinking, "Oh, this is a cry for help." I'm not her sister, her exact words were, "You need to get help." Slams the door in her face. You need help, bam, but not from me.
For me, you do not get any help from your sister. Go get it professionally.
That was one gripe I had.
It was
weird.
Like,
you
it's
get
an
that
odd choice.
big long, and I read some of the email was like, "I wish you
You're
died,"
suffocating me.
and I wish you died like mom or
like
something.
mom, yeah, like really dark. Like,
Yeah,
and
like-
that didn't seem like their relationship at all.
No.
So I thought that was weird that the sister just took it for what it was.
Yeah, it was
even
like-
though Elizabeth is like, dude, I didn't write you that email.
Even though it was kind of set up earlier that like she only goes to Emily when in like time of need or whatever, but she was been locked in this
cellar.
Yeah, this year, literally probably been locked in a cellar at some
probably,
point.
yeah.
Because
I mean,
she
if,
talks
if
about
you have
how
scars like that,
Yeah.
that guy's probably doing that.
and she
as
talked
well.
about how it started controlling her meals and what she ate and to where she left and everything. Yeah, but for her sister to just slam the door in her face and be like, "You're obviously mentally unfit." Bam! Get the fuck out of here. I thought it was a little kind of crazy.
It was an odd choice for the character. No doubt about it.
So some things like that was probably my gripes of it. And there's some other ones I might get into. But besides that, so now the relationship between the sister is gone. And it's exactly what an abuser does if he's alive. You know, he tries to distance you from everyone else. So you feel like you're alone. And so the only person you have is fucking the invisible man, Adrian.
And then she's freaking out at home. She's reading the email. She's going through. And at this point, like, Sydney comes into the room. And this was another thing that didn't make any sense because Sydney sits there and they're talking. And then Sydney gets smacked hard.
This was a good jump scare, too, for me. She gets lit up. I did not, because it's all like, because she was like in like fetal position, Elizabeth's mom, and it's really bad. She comes in, she's like, we're going to have a girls' day tomorrow. But it just shows you exactly, but it just shows you what a piece of shit Adrian is, if it's Adrian or whoever it is, that someone to go to that length where as soon as
it was definitely Adrian.
Or as soon as anything happens. Well, I don't know if it's Adrian right here at this moment. We'll get into it.
Okay.
I don't know. But regardless, she gets fucking, and it must have been a kick, right? Because I don't think he could have been down because they were like squatting down. So he must have just fucking round up donkey kicked her ass.
But it was weird because I felt like Sydney at that time was kind of looking at Elizabeth, and she was Cece. She looked far enough away where it was like, okay.
The only thing was when she got up, she looked down to get up. She took her eyes off her. Yeah. But again, Cece would have had to at least leaned over and out of nowhere. Yeah. I mean, that's jumping from fucking going from, she might be crazy to this person is randomly violent. Yeah. But immediately but of course you're not going to think, a fucking ghost came out and fucking walloped me.
You're the only one in the room, so it was probably
like just seeing a ghost in general would be crazy. But this joke comes up and KOs
slaps you. Might be a problem.
Yeah. So she immediately goes, and it's a good scene though, because you can see the fear in James's eyes. Because immediately something happens to your kid, you know.
Yeah, and Cece's like trying to like, hey, he's like, I'm trying to protect my daughter right now. That's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
you know?
And he immediately goes and he takes her, away from the situation, like you should do. But that leaves Cece on her own, and now she's by herself, and now she knows she's not by herself.
No, she's not.
She's in the house,
she's in like the living room, and she pours coffee grounds.
Yeah, which is
all
smart.
All over. Very smart. Of course. If you're going to catch a ghost, that's the way to do it.
You get a little witch's circle. They can't cross that border. We know that.
Get a little salt.
Little circle of salt. They can't do anything. But yeah, she does, and she hides in a corner or whatever. What I immediately thought, what I thought was, as soon as I ever went into a room, I start swinging my arms around the entire room. There's no way he can run around.
There's no way. You know what's so funny? That was the same thing I was thinking. Or like just bring in like a
long stick.
Like a baseball bat. Yeah, start swinging it around.
Swing around everywhere. It's not like he's jumping up and down.
Jumping over it. No.
So immediately do that. Shut the door. You can't come in there. He's got to open the door. He's not going through walls or whatever. So that was my immediate. Or just taking knives and start swinging everywhere you go. Or doing the whole helicopter.
Yeah, why not?
Cut someone's ass if you have to. But no, she does the
sit and wait.
The sit and wait and just let him come to me. Yeah. And like he's not there yet. He's not ready for that contact yet. He still has games to play, you know. So he's not going for the
I did like this. So and you see the hours kind of go by and it's like 4 a.m. and she decides to call Adrian's cell phone.
Yeah. Well, we didn't even talk about earlier they built it up with her in the bed because she's sleeping with Sydney because obviously she's traumatized or whatever. But and him pulling the covers
off and taking photos.
Well, at first I thought he was just flicking the lights on and off, just fucking with her. Then I found out later it was the flash of a camera or whatever because it doesn't show that. But it's a good scene because him pulling the covers off, it's like
paranormal activity.
Exactly. They used a combination of like CGI effects and those practical effects with like the paranormal activity with like seeing someone's hand on it or whatever, pulling that off. But yeah, and when she goes outside and she sees the breath was a really good effect too.
That was a really good effect.
Breath, yeah.
And the person standing on the blanket when she's trying to pull it off.
Yeah, exactly. These are all scenes that they used to build up that he was there or whatever. But yeah, she gets the good idea after the coffee grounds to call his phone, which is good, but why the fuck would he still have his phone?
I don't know. And then to be in the house on top of that still.
Yeah, he's been living. Of course, I guess you got to hide out. It's a full-time job stalking someone.
So, yeah.
It really is. It's 24 hours. And you got to pretend you're dead, so you don't have anywhere to go, to be honest with you. But yeah, so she calls his phone, and she hears it coming in the house. You know, it's classic. He's in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And she follows it up, and she hears it coming from the attic.
Yeah, coming from the ceiling.
It's a good scene, man. This is a really good suspenseful scene. When she's up in the attic and she's not sure if he's fucking up there or not, and she's flashing the light or whatever, and she moves closer, and she finds at the very end of the attic is
the butcher knife that he took when she was cooking.
Yeah.
The
phone, his phone,
the cell phone. Thank you.
And all of her architectural designs that he stole earlier. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's what those were. Yes.
Yeah.
The architectural designs.
Yeah. Her work. That
I'm not gonna lie. I was like, hold on, what is that? I didn't know what that
and
was.
her
but
blueprints.
Yeah, the blueprints. Yeah.
But yeah, so now, you know, she's got
she
some,
knows for sure.
and she's got some fucking proof.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unless James was taking the pictures from his phone.
But the problem is it's problematic proof because, you know, they had left the house, so they could literally just say, no, you went up there and just put that stuff in the attic.
Well, the problem comes from the answer of the problem being that he's an invisible man. And it's damn near, even if you're going to give me, I mean, a picture of a phone and a knife and those things, I'm still not thinking this guy turned himself invisible.
Yeah.
But he was head of his field in optics. We got to remember that.
Yeah, and they brought that up a few times.
Yeah, constantly he was ahead of his field in optics.
Head of his field, no doubt about that. Adrian was smart.
He was above and beyond.
Asshole,
yeah,
but he was smart.
I don't know where he got the time from abusing her to inventing.
I don't know,
but he was amazing. Don't forget about that. But yeah, so she finds the portfolio and whatnot, and then it's a good scene because
this scene's great.
She hears the attic or the ladder move, and she goes towards it, and she's just looking at it, and it's one of those camera angles where it's just showing the bottom of the ladder. That's it. So you're like, "Fuck, is he there or not?" It's suspenseful as hell. Then she throws
white paint,
and it catches him, and he was like 2 inches in front of her fucking face, and it's a good scene because he either the score or he like yells out this like scream or whatever, and he kind of just flies back or whatever. But she goes up the attic, but she eventually drops down and she follows the drops, and it leads to the sink where he washed off the paint, and then he just beats the shit out of her at this point. Because he's pissed at his new suit. You got paint on it. It's
probably $1 million suit.
It's never gonna come
probably
out.
Spent a lot of time on that suit. Yeah.
So they
and again, good writing as well too. Because if you look at the very beginning of this movie, when Cece moved in, they were painting the house. They were doing home.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So home improvement. Yeah. And so like when there was paint in the attic, I wasn't like, oh okay, geez. Oh, there's paint in the attic. Imagine that. It actually all made sense.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And the fight scene it's awesome. It's always cool seeing someone fight an invisible man. Because, I mean, they're struggling against a force, obviously, but it's not there. So it's cool to shoot. I wonder.
And there were a few of those.
Yeah.
There were a few of those.
Yeah, I'm guessing what they did was put someone in a green suit or whatever and then had her fight or someone and then CGI'd it. But the movie I always go back to that is the pivotal Invisible Man movie for me is, have you ever seen Hollow Man with Baconator, Kevin Bacon?
I don't think I have.
Oh, it's good. It's really good.
It's
a horror movie, yeah. He turns himself invisible, but he's like really deranged. But he does it in a way where he like injects himself with something, and it's the most realistic look of an invisible man as a man, because right when he turns himself invisible, he immediately starts perving on everyone.
Of course, yeah.
It's the most realistic. I mean, what a man would do if he immediately goes to the women's bathroom. Yeah, I'm not kidding. He turns and like 2 scenes later, he goes, whoop. He gets up without anyone knowing and goes straight to the bathroom and watches people start going to the bathroom. Yeah.
Jeez.
It's a very realistic look at it.
I was made in 2000.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hello, Man with Kevin Bacon. Yeah.
It's worth it, though. It's got a bunch of like 90s stars in it, but it's worth going back and watching.
Oh, yeah. It's got Josh Brolin in it.
That's crazy. A really young Josh Brolin. Yep.
Greg Grunberg.
It's got famous people in it.
Yeah,
The main lady is famous in it, too. I can't remember.
Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah, she's in everything. It's good, but it's good, yeah. It's more of a straight-up horror because he's going around really torturing and killing people. But yeah, that's what they did. You know, they just put Kevin Bacon in a green suit and let him go crazy.
And that he did.
And he did. He did. Gotta love Kevin Bacon, though. Okay, so she finally escapes. She calls a Lyft, which is the greatest service of all time because this Lyft driver is like around the corner. He's like, I'm waiting, just waiting for some woman in distress
to call me up.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he calls her and she doesn't go anywhere. She doesn't go to the police or anything. She's frazzled because she just got in a fight with nothing, which sucks when you get your ass kicked by absolutely nothing.
It does.
But she goes back to Adrian's house to where it's all started to kind of investigate what's going on. You know, maybe I can get some answers and whatnot. And she goes down to his lab and she finds
the suit.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's being held up. Well, it looks like nothing.
Like, yeah, of course. It's like it's his lab downstairs.
Yeah, but you would think she would have just like maybe just wave your hand through it, just make sure there's something there.
Well, even the first time, too, do you remember when she was trying to escape and she goes down to the lab for a minute and you can hear it go click, 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 and she looks over real quick at it and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
And then she goes back and down again. But this time I think she's a little bit more at peace. Well, she's just kind of going through.
Well, she knows at this point, because she never knew he was making a fucking invisible suit. He
no.
told her, I mean...
Probably nothing.
No, absolutely nothing. He told her,
because he wants to be in control.
Yeah,
always.
exactly, yeah. Yeah, and that's a big fucking deal. But yeah, but the reveal of the suit was awesome. It was very well done. I'm sure that's where a majority of the budget went, was just this sequence of the suit. Because when she turns the suit on and it kind of the clicking was super cool, super well done. And you got to give it to the director because that's sci-fi. I mean, for sure.
Definitely.
It's an awesome. And it's got and I love how they never went into detail, the science behind it. Mm-hmm. For one,
you don't need to.
You don't need to. You could have gone into great fucking detail and it would have done nothing for the audience. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We would have just went, oh, okay.
Oh, okay. That's how it works.
100%. I liked how they kept it. It seemed realistic in a way, but they didn't go into the science. Because if you went into science, then you could have went, fucking...
People could have been like, that doesn't work.
That doesn't make
sense.
Work. Yeah. It just looked to me like there was... And they said he was in optics. So to me, it was just 1,000 little tiny camera lenses that were reflecting everything around it.
Yeah.
So it's...
That was what I got, too.
And it's possible because I've heard that people have attempted to try something like that. And theoretically, it could be done if you could have very, very small cameras. But yeah, it's literally a suit, and it looks like it has just 1,000 eyes around it. It's a cool looking suit.
It is cool. It's sick.
But so she finds it, and then she hears like the door open or something, or she hears the dog.
The dog bark
because the dog is just left up there. I thought
that's what I was wondering too. I'm like, hold on, the dog's still at this home?
He's part of the crime scene.
Can't touch the evidence. Can't feed the evidence.
Starving. I know.
He's like, first I get fucking abused, I get a shock collar on.
That was weird.
The owner dies, and then everyone leaves me up here.
If he killed himself, there would have been police in and out of there. Someone would have
saw the dog and be like, okay.
Not my problem. I'm a coroner. I'm not a vet.
I don't get paid to take dogs away.
If it was a dead dog, I gotta take it.
I'll take it. I'll dispose of it. I'll cremate it.
I'll do what I gotta do. But no, I don't deal in the living. But yeah, so the dog is just up there chilling, and it's been weeks, if not a month or two after the fact. The dog's still kicking it up there. I don't know. It's probably eating rats.
What do you think Adrian's feeding it?
Oh, he had to.
Yeah, he had to have been.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. I mean, he's a sociopath. He's not a monster.
It's true. You got to be nice to the doggos. Still going up there
feeding that dog, yeah. Although we did learn that he was a dick because he did have a big shock collar.
Shock collar on, yeah.
But yeah, so she goes, she hides the suit, which I thought, why not just pop that baby on right now? Let's
get the hell out
yeah,
of here,
let's get invisible. But I don't know, maybe she just didn't know how to use it or something.
Instead, though, she takes it to the closet space where she was hiding her getaway bag in the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah, it's good because without us telling us, it's a spot that we know that Adrian doesn't know about. Yep. It's probably the one spot in the house,
in the whole entire house that he doesn't know about.
Yeah, exactly.
And I really thought the second time around, I thought maybe he was gonna find out that place because he was coming in at that time in that moment.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe he's going to know now.
That was a good moment, too, a tense moment where you could see his footprints on the carpet or whatever, and she was hiding out, yeah. Because he can't fight a guy that's invisible. Again, it's just frustrating. It's so frustrating.
Don't know where those punches are coming from.
You're just getting punched in the back of the head, the throat. He's coming from everywhere. But, yeah, so she takes it, she hides it in the house, and this is when she attempts to tell her sister, right? Mm-hmm. She tells her sister, I got fucking hard evidence that this guy is still alive.
Yep.
So they go and they meet at a public place.
Public restaurant.
This place is nothing's going to happen at this restaurant.
No, of course not. That was my thought, too. I'm like, nothing's going to happen here.
Put two together, the guy's fucking invisible. He could go out in the middle. You could be speaking to 1,000 people. He could walk up to you and fucking shoot you. It wouldn't matter how public it needed to be. But yeah, so they meet in a public place, and this is it. This is the jump scare I was talking about. It's probably the best jump scare of the year. The scene where they're just looking up, and then the sister looks up, and she just sees the fucking knife floating. Mm-hmm. And it lasts for like 2 seconds.
It does.
And you're just looking at it and you're like, what the fuck is going to happen here? And then slice across the fucking neck. And the knife flies back into Cece's hand. And it's shot so well where it's like no music or anything at that point. And she's just sitting there, shaking and like crying. Mm-hmm. And then the lady next to her looks and just lets out this blood curdle scream. She looks like she just fucking
murdered her sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My only complaint is there no cameras?
That was a common theme in this movie where I kept going, okay, there's no cameras here, no cameras there.
It should have been shot in like 1980 or something, or even 1990 where like most places wouldn't have good cameras. Because at this point, a camera can almost pick up anything, even a knife floating around. Yeah. Have you seen those cameras that they're using to hunt ghosts with?
Exactly.
They're picking up everything.
That was a common thing too. It's kind of that movie. It's that movie reality where you kind of just have to forget about it.
But that was really my only. That was the only kind of thing that really kind of disbelief was that and some of the character choices. But yeah, a lot of these places like and at like the hospital and everything. Like look at the camera footage.
Yeah,
these guys are being thrown around by invisible force. It's not,
but no one picked it up. Well, even at the police station as well too.
Yeah,
and then at the end they're like, "Oh well, yeah." All of them said weird things happen. I'm like, what about cameras at a maximum facility?
That's exactly what I was going to make. Because the cop was like, "But we got witnesses. Who gives a fuck about that? You have hard evidence.
You have camera. You think this guy just shoots himself in the knee for nothing?
Well, do you think this guy's picking himself up and slamming himself on the?
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's like, we got witnesses. It's a lot of wild stuff. Wild stuff? I think they felt some guy's hand on his throat.
Just check the footage.
Yeah, that was the only thing was, like, you got to kind of think this is a world where, like, cameras don't exist, even though he's a leader in optics.
Optics leader and, has a million cameras on his body.
That was the only thing. Like, immediately check the footage at the restaurant. You'll see a knife floating, and then you'll see a knife floating. Unless she's fucking a telepath and she can control the knife with her mind.
And in that case, let's not press charges. Let's try to get whatever that is inside of her.
But no, they just, no cameras. They say, you killed her. And they send her to the insane asylum. Well, first they, they just send her to the insane asylum, right?
They
drug her
right
up.
Away, yep.
They lock her up.
That was another scene I couldn't stand because they were dragging her in. And she's like, no, let me go. But I'm thinking, okay, if this woman really just slit someone's throat at a public restaurant, they would have her in handcuffs. They would have her in shackles.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't. Yeah, they would definitely probably take her to a psychiatry hospital immediately to get to get tested immediately, because someone that kills her sister in a public place immediately, but you couldn't throw her in her cell because she would just. But yeah, I don't know. Well, they were definitely, there was like 9 guards around her, and she wasn't going anywhere.
No, of course not. No, but I mean,
of course they don't think that she's a fucking a serial killer or anything. They just think she had a mental break and kill. They don't think at this point, they probably not even think that they're too much in danger. But they strap her down and they drug her, which is bad because she knows that
Adrian's in the room.
He's winning, and now she can't physically do anything. He could do anything to her.
Again, goes back to the common theme of Adrian always wanting to be in control.
Yeah, and it does the thing again where it pans to the corner of the room and just leaves it there while she's screaming, "He's here, he's here." He's just chilling.
Just a little terrifying.
Yeah, it's horrifying. It's a good villain. It's a really good villain, Invisible Man. It's especially one that's insane. But yeah, so she's strapped in. She's at the mental institution now, and that's where things have led. Adrian, at this point, he's probably feeling pretty good. I mean, he's winning. He's definitely winning. Mm-hmm. Something happens though, where a doctor comes in and delivers some harsh news.
Yeah.
Sorry to put salt in the wound, sister, but
BTW.
Yeah, this one's gonna burn. I know you got a lot going on right now.
But did you also know, take a life, give a life? So,
yeah, heads up.
Heads up, you're pregnant.
Big pregnant. Yeah. Big time pregnant.
Question for you. The what is that? What is it?
Diazepam.
I think he was drugging her so he could rape her at night and impregnate her, because this is months later.
Well, it wasn't. It didn't end up not being that. That was my immediate thought too.
Yeah, that was my thought.
It didn't. It ended up being that he was just replacing her birth control.
Oh yeah, that's right. Later on.
But
initially, I did.
It didn't go that evil.
Because when I heard that,
I think that maybe they even knew they could have gone that route where it would have been really, really fucking. Which this movie was rated R, so why not go for that? Because that would have really. Because that was my immediate thought too.
That was mine. I was like,
oh my god, he drugged her and then fucking. But he would have to take the suit off to rape her, because there's not like a zipper.
Yeah. Just a zipper in the back.
But yeah, that was my immediate thought. Well, I'm like, oh, that would be real fucking dark if he was doing that, which he could. I mean, he wouldn't have.
Seems like the kind of guy who would have,
and he wouldn't have had to have the suit on because she would have been knocked out. She would have
been knocked cold.
Yeah, and he would have because they knew that she was trying for a baby for a long time,
and he really wanted to get her pregnant.
And we didn't talk about this. She talked about earlier. She was secretly taking birth control without him knowing, but Adrian knows everything.
He knows everything
because. Not only she's getting all kinds of guests today, she's dropping that news on her, and then she also gets Tom comes in and drops some fucking knowledge on her as well.
It's a rough day. CeCe.
Why the hell are they allowing so many goddamn guests in here?
Don't know.
So many visitors.
No shit, right? Like 24 hours after
this woman is mentally mental
breakdown. Yeah.
Well, this is after actually she. Because after remember James, another cop, talks to her.
Yep.
Which, again, conflict of interest. Why would James be talking to her? You'd think they get another detective to talk to her. They're best friends. But he talks to her, and he's...
Conflict of interest again.
He's really upset about it, obviously, because he thinks, how could I have known? How could I... He's upset that he left her at the house or whatever. But... And she kind of says he's in the room right now, and they say he is or whatever, but of course they don't believe her. But yeah, then Tom comes, and Tom says, bad news. Remember that $5 million I said you could have?
I said it if you didn't break the law.
Yeah. Oh, and one more thing. You can't be mentally unfit, which is a thing I thought they left out of the movie, because I thought he was going to say that right at the start when he was talking about the will, when he was talking about you can't do law. Because I'm like, oh, maybe they left that. Maybe they edited that out, because it wouldn't have made sense for him to say it at the very beginning. Oh, and one more thing, you can't be mentally fit. Like, okay, I've never shown a sign
a little
of it.
Foreshadowing here.
Yeah, but I like the way they add, because he's wearing the same exact suit in every goddamn scene, so it looks like he's from that one scene. But he says, yeah, no more money, and we're also got to take that money back you gave to Sydney. But there's a catch. You can keep this money, but you got to get back. Kid. And this is when the sound gets dramatic, Because this is the big twist of the movie is Tom is in on it the entire time.
Yep. And he knew.
Yeah,
he knew
and
everything.
I love this scene as well because he says something like, "What did you think? Did you think he was gonna let you go or something?" He goes, "Did you think he was just gonna let you have $5 million for nothing?" He goes, he essentially says he always wins no matter what he gets his way. He's like, he's controlling me right now. He's like, he knew forever that you were taking birth control. He's like, he knew. He replaced the birth control
with
the hidden birth control
pills. Yeah.
So crazy, yeah. And Tom says, yeah, he controls everything. He's like, you'll never get away no matter what. Look what he did to you. He completely ruined your life. He turned everyone against you. Now you got to have his goddamn kid. And she says,
no, I'm good.
She says, no, Tom. And she even says something along the lines like, or before this, she hints out, she calls him a jellyfish.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll bring that up because something happens later on. But she calls Tom a jellyfish. She says, you'll always be living in his shadow. You're nothing like him or whatever. But
and she basically refuses what he has to offer. And as he's turning around, she grabs a pen out of his briefcase.
She dramatically throws as a distraction. She throws the papers down.
Paper out.
He bends down and she grabs because it's a very nice pen.
It is a very
beautiful fountain pen. Beautiful
I
craftsmanship.
gotta know how much. Yeah, this is like $60 pen a piece.
Lot.
He's got $200 in pens. In his
lawyers and pens.
briefcase.
That's like they're like cars. Like that and their business cards. That's a big deal for those
it's a
guys.
very big deal.
But yeah, so she takes up the pen and then that's it. She says, "No, Tom, I'm not having this goddamn kid." And you know what I thought she was gonna do with the pen?
Stab him?
No.
Oh.
A fucking homegrown abortion. I thought she was going to give herself an abortion.
Oh, jeez.
And I thought
that would have been dark. That would have been real dark.
At that point, though, I was thinking he was still raping her.
Yeah.
But I thought, man, this film had a capacity to go really dark.
It really
because that would have went, because she wouldn't have really done it. She would have just gone like she was going to do it. And then he would have stepped in, obviously. But yeah, instead but of course, this makes more sense. I think,
of
because
course.
she doesn't want to live.
She doesn't want to live
in prison.
Yeah. So she attempts suicide, but it's basically just to bring Adrian.
It's a trick. Yeah. She never, because she's stronger than that. She's not giving up yet. So she goes for the wrist, and she goes pretty far down. It's a tough.
I know. I was like, geez, for faking it, you're kind of not faking it.
But she had to make it look real, or otherwise he would have never stepped in. But he does, because he didn't want to. But he grabs her fucking her wrist,
her wrist,
and then she goes full stab mode. She goes OJ on him.
She does.
Bam, 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 stabs in the neck and everything. And it's cool because it malfunctions the suit, right? And we see the suit
starting
fading in and out or whatever. Yeah. So all this is happening. She's big commotion or whatever. A guard comes in. And he's like, "Don't do this, CC," or whatever he's saying. And she's like, "Look around, you asshole." And he turns around, and he's just standing there. There's some guy in this big fucking scuba suit or whatever. Yeah, you don't know what it is. He panics, but the Visible Man kills this guy. Yeah. She runs away. And this is when a really good choreographed fight scene comes into play that I thought was awesome, but I immediately felt it was the same kind of fight choreography as Upgrade. With the camera like swinging when he swings a guy over and the camera swings with him, then swings back. That's something you don't see. Yeah, I haven't seen anywhere else besides. It's a style for sure. Yeah, it is for sure. Which is cool. It's cool to have.
Style.
It's awesome. Yeah. It works really well for those fast paced. Because even with like the gun, where he takes the gun to his leg and it flips over,
and then it comes down and then back.
Yeah. I want to see the behind the scenes of it because the camera work had to have been a guy.
Cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
So she does.
You know
that.
how hard that is to do in the moment. You know,
they must have shot that
to do so
60
many
times
takes.
at least. Multiple.
Those
times,
choreographers, those stunt guys would just be like, "Oh my god, what a day!"
Especially that one where they're being thrown around and. Because it's a really good fight scene. Because the whole time she's just looking back and being like, because he's taking guys out left and right.
He is.
And again, it's a little movie tropey because they come in waves Like in as soon as you hear one gunshot, that place is on lockdown.
And there's 11, 12 guards right away, but not in movies.
And the entire place locks. Like you can't get in and out. Nope. Like there's no alarm or anything for a very long time in this. Like many people have to die for.
And how about surveillance? Yeah. No one's watching surveillance.
Or how about the guys just sitting in the security booth and not doing anything when she runs by?
Doesn't hit the alarm.
She just points a gun at him. Don't move. And this guy's like, I got no idea what's going on.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So you gotta suspend some disbelief there, but it's big because she's getting out and the suit's kind of malfunctioning, and she goes to the parking lot, and it's kind of she's hunting him at this point.
She is.
Because he's running away from it, and she grabs a gun, and she's like, I gotta fucking end this thing. So it's kind of cool because it's a reverse kind of role where she's now looking for him, and she finds like his
Well, remember they start to get outside and they're fighting and stuff, and he says basically that Sydney's next.
Yeah, he says, you did this, now I gotta kill that fucking innocent girl. Yep. And he takes off and he's gonna go. I thought he was just warning, but he was kind of saying, I'm gonna go do that now.
Right now. Yeah, like
I got nothing,
no hesitation.
That's what I thought.
Nothing on the schedule.
I thought it was just kind of a general, but he's like, oh, she's like, oh fuck, he's going right now. He's yeah, and he heads over there immediately. After kind of a fight in the parking lot or whatever.
Which was also a good scene too.
Yeah, because the rain dripping down with it fading in. Again, that must have been probably $2 million of a $7 million budget went for these CGI scenes. Yeah. But yeah, so he gets away and she follows him, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, back to James' house.
Yeah, and she calls James though and tells James that.
Oh yeah, because he's actually not at home. Only Sydney's at home. So he's got to rush back home too.
Yeah, and
at this point,
he's kind of freaking out.
Freaking out because he doesn't know if to believe CC.
And why the fuck are you on the phone, CC? You don't get phone privileges when you're on lockdown. But yeah, so he's kind of really worried about that. But yeah, so she goes down because she's got to go protect Sydney, right?
Yep.
And she goes back to the house.
Yeah, James gets there first. He goes in, and both of them are getting attacked by the Invisible Man at this point.
Right, yeah.
When Cece comes in the house.
James gets the shit beat out of him.
He does, for a little while.
I mean, but it's a good because he's just, he's scrambling around trying to grab onto something.
I thought he was going to die in this. I thought this movie was dark enough where
he could have. He could have. I think he was going for the kill without a doubt. But
then Sydney comes, or excuse me, not Sydney. Cece comes in and saves the day with the fire extinguisher.
Yeah, comes back into play. Sydney was good with that fire extinguisher. She was always waiting for a moment to pop it.
And then Cece told Sydney to get the hell out of the way. I'm going to shoot this boy.
She does.
She shot him like 5 or 6 times in the chest.
Yep.
Good shot.
Well, fuck, yeah. You can't,
can't
for being invisible. Yeah, for not being able to see anything. But yeah, because it was right before he was probably about to deliver the final fucking blow to old James, because James he didn't have a dog in that fight.
No, he was inches from death.
But yeah, so she lets out some shots, and they kind of do the Scooby-Doo unmask.
Uh-huh.
Dun,
and
dun,
who
dun.
is it?
Who is it?
It's Tom, not Adrian.
Yeah, the old groundskeeper.
Yeah. the brother.
Yep. So it was Tom the whole time. Adrian's a good guy.
Oh, of course.
He would never do that weird shit.
And then, of course, they go to the house, and, oh, no, Adrian's still alive. He was locked in his basement for 3 weeks.
Yep. Tom did all this. He did for what reason, I'm never clear on.
It never jumped into that.
Yeah.
And then how about the photos, too? Of the suicide.
And what was his...
Why would Adrian agree to that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Unless he knocked him out, staged makeup. Yeah. Yeah, you obviously got to think Adrian had some fuck... But the cops in this will do anything but believe CC. They will believe any other fucking motive but fucking believe this one. But yeah, so the whole time they say, oh, it was Tom the entire time. Mm-hmm. Tom was after you. It wasn't Adrian. Adrian was just a pawn. Tom was the mastermind. He was the one. So now they think it's over, right?
Yep.
They think that it's all back to normal. No one's hunting her. Again, Cece is probably can't live her life at all.
No, because now Adrian's alive again.
And free. Yeah.
And he was the one hunting you to begin with.
Yes. So she's got to do something about it. Mm-hmm. That's the only way she's got to break free. She's got to do something about it. But so what is she going to do?
She decides to go to Adrian's home and have dinner with him.
Go to the source.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she told James to come in surveillance to listen because they're trying to get a confession.
Yeah.
Or what we perceive to trying to get a confession out of him.
Yes, of course. And the confession doesn't go to plan.
No, it doesn't.
Because he's a fucking genius. He's not a.
Of course, he's not.
He's not a Hollywood villain. He's not.
Yeah. He's like, let me tell you my master plan.
Yeah. But he does something because he is a psychopath. He had to do something. He had to do something to dig the knife in a little deeper. Mm-hmm. You know, you get that chance, abso-fucking-lutely, you're gonna take it. And he drops a little Easter egg. He says surprise. That's what he's been doing. Then he texted her surprise, and he yelled at dude at one point, I think, in the mental hospital. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that gives her immediately the knowledge that it was him for sure. She knew anyways, but I guess it was just for old James. So that being said, she goes, okay, I got to go to the bathroom. And she still thinks she's still having his kid, right? Mm-hmm. And it's kind of the whole thing where it's like he's playing like it's candid and he's playing like cute. He's
the
like,
super nice guy, yeah.
It's like, look, I'm changed.
I'm a changed man. This will really change.
Never.
You know what made me feel a lot better and change my ways? Following you around all the time without your consent.
You remember that whole thing about me inventing this invisible suit just so I can stalk you into my death? It's never gonna happen again.
And I'm a grown man.
It's a one-off. It's a one-off. I got rid of the suit. What do you want me to do? Okay. Yeah, and then Cece's like, yeah, cool. I mean, I'm down with it.
Yeah, she goes, let me just go clean myself up in the bathroom.
We're gonna start this whole life over again.
You know what? You might be able to impregnate me again. Who knows?
Things could go good. Things could go good.
Things are looking. No, they're not.
It's not be your night. No.
Cecilia is going to clean up, but she's going to clean up the mess in the kitchen.
And I liked the way they did it with the knife again because that's the way he did it.
That was the way he did it to her sister.
Yeah, mm-hmm. But a little more realistic with this one, I thought. But she cuts his throat, puts the knife in his hand, and good effects on the throat cut for both scenes. It looked like a deep cut.
It did.
Both of them looked like
practical effects too. It wasn't all CGI.
Yep.
You could tell they did the makeup.
Yep.
Which is the best thing. You have to do that.
Absolutely, yeah. But yeah, both cuts look like they could just about take someone's goddamn head off. So he starts bleeding out, and what's cool is it never shows like she doesn't like boop 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 do the suit and say something or whatever. Mm-hmm. She just goes back into the bathroom or whatever that we know of.
And comes back out in her dress, full makeup and everything.
Because she got to sell,
Yeah. Because she knew where the security camera was.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and I like how she was screaming, good acting, of course. And then she backs out. She's fine. Yeah.
She's like, oh, by the way, this dude's dead.
Yeah, something happened. I don't know. Yeah.
Might want to come check it out.
Yeah, maybe come, maybe don't. I don't give a fuck. Just make sure you take the dog this time, okay?
Yeah, please. Someone take the damn dog.
But, that should have been the dead giveaway that he wasn't dead was the dog stuck around.
Like what?
But, so that's how it ends. It ends with her taking the suit at the very end and just kind of leaving, you know? Which I thought it was a good ending. I thought it was going to end different. I thought, well, for one, I didn't think that it was going to be a suit. I thought it was going to be some kind of like serum or whatever. Let me tell you, my imagine ending was they defeat Adrian at the very end, but he remains invisible or whatever. He gets away at the very end. So I thought she was going to have to turn herself invisible just to get away from him. Mm-hmm. Like, he'll hunt me down no matter what forever. Yeah. So the only way I can ever actually leave and start a new life is to completely turn invisible because he would have had no way of finding her.
Right.
But now, she has the suit, so is she technically the Invisible Woman now? Because anyone could have the suit,
But again, we're doing these standalone films.
I know, yeah, I know.
With the Dark Universe, so...
I just wish she would have became permanently invisible at the very end, just so she would have been the Invisible Woman forever. Yeah. That would have been her, but Now she has a suit, but she can give that suit to anyone.
She can. Anyone can be the next.
That's the problem with having
man or
suits with like Iron Man and shit. Anyone can hop in that suit and be fucking Iron Man.
Exactly.
You're doing
human.
nothing.
It's the AI that's
it's
doing
the
it.
super suit. Yeah. Anyone. So I was hoping that the ending I envisioned would have been, but I still like the ending that it could go on and she could still be the invisible woman or whatever. But why would she?
I don't know.
At this point,
no.
Why would she ever need to be invisible? Why not just fucking get rid of the suit?
I mean, unless she wants to be a crime fighter, but that's it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Maybe she goes. Maybe she goes and stops more like abusive husbands or something.
Oh yeah,
she just breaks
domestic violence.
Breaks in and kills those guys, make it look like they kill themselves. Well, I mean, she's fucking dark. She can do that.
That's true.
I mean, just beating up a domestic abuser probably isn't enough these days. I mean, probably not. We saw what happened to Adrian. I mean, if he got beat up, I'm sure he probably wouldn't have stopped. Like, all right, well, I get the message.
Well, I get it. I get it. And I've learned my ways.
Clear message. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, so
I'm a better man.
I was hoping at least it'd be like a serum or something. But there was a few Easter eggs to the original Invisible Man.
There was quite a few, actually.
When she's in the hospital and some guy gets wheeled out and he's in
like, okay, that's right on the nose.
That was cool, though. But
it wasn't in your face where it was like annoying. It was just like, oh, okay, that's cool. Everyone sees that one. And then the one where she's sleeping, too.
And he's in the
suit. And he's in the hat, which is from the original, like, 1933 one, yeah.
And something, it would have been super campy, probably not worked out at the story at all, but what I was hoping she'd be invisible, though, at the very end, put on a trench coat and a hat and glasses.
That would have been awesome.
It would have been super campy and like completely out of character for the movie.
Right.
But I would have loved it.
It would have been worth it.
The very end, she just had a top hat, and it would have been very cool. But yeah, it ended up being good.
It did. Surprisingly good.
Yeah,
especially for a February movie.
Kind of blew my expectations
out of the water.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm not saying it was a perfect movie.
No.
Because I had my faults with it still, but yeah, it's way better than any right that it had to be, especially being a February movie. But yeah, but it's a lot of people are going to see it. I mean, it's made a lot of money already.
Heck yeah.
Should we give our grades on it?
Yeah, let's do our grades.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go first. So I mean, overall, I was very, very pleased with this movie. I thought it was great acting. I love the cinematography and all the camera effects that they were able to use. And knowing that this is the same director of Upgrade makes all the sense in the world, especially with the action sequences. I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was fun. There were a few problems, obviously, with the cameras and whatnot that I was not a huge fan of, because obviously just look at surveillance. Surveillance is everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
You'd be able to check the tape, especially if you're going to use that in a court of law. But nonetheless, it's a movie, and sometimes you just got to accept a few things in a film to keep the story moving along. So overall, I gave this movie a solid B.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Yeah, I'm right around there. I gave it a B minus. Comparing it to Upgrade, I think I liked Upgrade more.
Way more. But I gave Upgrade like an A.
Yeah.
That movie was fucking awesome. I loved
Upgrade. But yeah, I liked Upgrade more. But this is, I think even critics gave this movie, because it's sitting at, what, a 90%
90% on Rotten
I think critics
Tomato.
really gave this movie really hard, because it did come out in February. And anytime a movie comes out in February and it's even like
halfway
you
good.
can even watch it, you can even stand sitting through it, they give it but it was definitely a good movie. It's probably the best movie out right now in February. But and the acting was phenomenal. Elizabeth Moss
she's awesome.
And it deals with heavy themes too. They managed to mix that into a really old story, and they managed to mix in, current things with domestic abuse, although it's not a recent thing, but
it's still like with the Me Too movement and stuff,
exactly.
It's still like a big deal.
Yeah.
And
absolutely,
and it does shine light or shed light on those situations.
Yeah, and it's only been recently that movies like that have started shining light on things like that, like in the 80s and stuff like that. But yeah, so I think that really helped it. But it was a heavy subject, and they did manage to mix in a domestic abuse story with somehow a horror thrill story, and it ended up working out. I hope we see more of the Invisible Man somehow.
So do I.
The Invisible Woman now, right? It's got to be.
I guess so. I guess it would be, unless you like sold the suit on eBay, 1.5 mil.
Well, and now the government has the suit also, because Tom's suit, remember? That's another thing.
That's right.
So
yeah.
now fucking everyone's going to be wearing that shit.
Yep.
I mean, the government's going to mainline that. I was almost half expecting, but of course, they stayed with it without connecting any other movie with it, which I'm glad that they stuck with that. I was almost at the end thinking we were going to get like a scientist from whatever the Mummy crew was
God,
or
I would
whatever.
hope
Right at the
not.
very
Yeah.
end, like grab the suit. So just knowing that no one else would get it or whatever. But now everyone's going to have it.
Of course.
Those things are going to be sold at fucking Walmart. Because there was, 3 suits total?
Yeah, 2 or 3 suits, yeah. Oh, 3 suits, yeah, there would have been.
I think
yeah.
because Tom had
Tom's.
one, Adrian had one, and then there was one inside the house still.
Mm-hmm. Probably in development.
He was he was just throwing those.
Mass producing these.
Well, anything else for the Invisible Man?
No, I think that wraps it up, Cash. This is our review for The Invisible Man, Universal Pictures, Universal Dark Universe, rather, movie.
Yeah.
If you guys like what you heard here, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Type in Have You Seen It? Have You Seen It podcast. We do YouTube exclusive content like trailer reactions and whatnot. So be sure to subscribe to that channel there. We're almost to 200 subscribers. So be sure, go to our YouTube channel if you haven't yet. Subscribe to the channel. Our podcast, audio format, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher. Social media pages, Twitter, Seen It Podcast. Instagram, Have You Seen It? Facebook, Have You Seen It Podcast. Cash is also on Twitter. That's just Cash. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Krause. And until next time.
Bye.